You walk into a room. Nobody announced you. You didn't clear your throat or raise your hand, but something shifted. People glance up. Conversations pause for a split second. Someone straightens their posture. You didn't do anything. That's the thing about real influence. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need a microphone or a corner office. It operates in the space between words, in the way you hold yourself when no one's watching, in the silence you're comfortable sitting in while everyone else scrambles to fill it. Most people think power is loud, the biggest voice, the flashiest move, the guy who dominates every conversation. But here's what actually happens. That guy burns out. People tolerate him. Sure, they nod along. But the moment he leaves the room, they exhale, they relax. Because loud isn't influence. Loud is exhausting. Real influence? It's the person who says less, but somehow everyone remembers what they said. The one who doesn't need to prove anything, because their presence already did. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're already broadcasting signals. Right now, whether you realize it or not, your body language, your eye contact, the micro expressions you think nobody notices, they're telling a story about who you are. The question is, what story are you telling? Let me paint you a picture. Two leaders, same company, same level of authority on paper. Leader A walks in every morning, like he owns the place. Loud greetings, firm handshakes that last 2 seconds too long. He interrupts meetings to add value, drops names constantly. Makes sure everyone knows he just got off a call with someone important. Leader B, quiet, shows up on time, listens more than he talks. When he does speak, it's measured, specific, no filler words, no need to dominate the airtime. Eye contact that doesn't waver, comfortable in silence. Fast forward 2 years. Leader A, burned bridges, team turnover through the roof. People respect the title, not the man. The moment he's not in the room, the energy shifts like someone opened a window and let fresh air in. Leader B, promoted people go to him for advice, even when it's not his job to give it. His team is loyal, not out of fear, but because he made them feel seen. What's the difference? Leader A thought influence was performance. Leader B understood its presence. And presence isn't something you fake. You can't trick people into thinking you're grounded when you're internally scrambling. They feel it. Maybe not consciously, but their nervous system picks up on it. Because here's what most people don't realize. Humans are walking lie detectors. We've spent millennia reading body language for survival. Is this person a threat? Can I trust them? Are they stable or chaotic? Your brain is doing this right now with everyone you interact with. And their brain is doing it to you. So when someone walks in, projecting calm, not arrogance, not indifference, but genuine calm, it registers deep, subconscious, safe, and safety. That's where influence lives. Okay, let's get into the weeds for a second, because this isn't just philosophy, it's biology. You've probably heard of mirror neurons. Basically, your brain has cells that fire both when you do something and when you watch someone else do it. It's why yawns are contagious. Why watching someone get hurt makes you wince. But here's where it gets interesting. Emotions work the same way. You walk into a room stressed, scattered, checking your phone every 30 seconds. People around you start feeling that anxiety. They don't know why, but suddenly they're a little more on edge. Flip side, you walk in calm, present, unhurried. People relax. They mirror that. This is emotional contagion, and you are constantly broadcasting. Now, combine that with something called the halo effect, but in reverse. The halo effect is when one positive trait, like attractiveness, makes people assume you have other positive traits, like intelligence or kindness. It's a cognitive shortcut. But here's the thing, composure works the same way. When someone stays calm under pressure, doesn't react defensively, doesn't need to justify themselves, doesn't flinch when criticized. Our brains assign them all kinds of positive traits: competence, wisdom, strength, even if we don't consciously think it. And this is where the Stoics were way ahead of their time. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, most powerful man in the known world, didn't write about conquering enemies or expanding territory. He wrote about controlling his own reactions. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not poetic fluff, that's strategy. Because the moment you stop needing external validation, the moment you stop performing for approval, you become unmovable. And unmovable people are magnetic. Think about it. Someone insults you in a meeting. Everyone's watching. Reactive response. Defend yourself. Get louder. Prove them wrong. Show everyone you're not weak. Stoic response. Pause. Let the insult hang in the air. Don't flinch. Then respond, calmly, directly, without emotion. Which person do you respect more? The one who needed to prove something, or the one who already knew their worth? Here's a test. Next conversation you have, pause before you respond. Like actually pause. 2 seconds. It'll feel awkward. You'll want to fill the space. Your brain will scream at you that silence is dangerous, that people will think you're slow or unsure. Ignore that voice. Because here's what happens when you don't rush to respond. People lean in. Silence creates tension. Tension creates attention. Everyone's waiting to see what you'll say, which means they're actually listening. You filter better. That extra second lets you think. No more reactive word vomit. No more saying something just to say something. You project confidence, because only confident people are comfortable in silence. Insecure people fill every gap. I saw this firsthand with a guy I used to work with. Sales role, high-pressure clients would throw objections at him constantly. Most salespeople panic. They talk faster, try to bulldoze through objections with more information, more enthusiasm, more something. This guy, he'd just stop. Let the objection sit there, sometimes for 5-6 seconds. Then he'd say something like, "That's fair. What specifically concerns you about that?" And the client would talk and talk and eventually talk themselves into the sale. Because silence flips the dynamic. You're not chasing anymore. You're not desperate. You're just there. And people trust solid. Most people don't listen. They wait for their turn to talk. You can see it in their eyes. You're mid-sentence and they're already crafting their response, nodding along but not actually hearing you. And we all do this. It's human. We're wired to think about ourselves. But the people who break that pattern, the ones who actually listen, not just to words, but to what's underneath, they're rare, and rarity is power. Real listening isn't passive, it's active. We're scanning for, what's the emotion behind the words? What are they not saying? What do they need to feel right now? Validation, solutions, or just space? And then, here's the key. You give them exactly that. Not what you think they need, what they're actually asking for. Example, someone vents to you about a terrible day. Most people jump in with advice. "Oh, you should have done this. Next time, try." But they didn't ask for advice. They asked to be heard. So instead, you just listen, nod, maybe say, "That sounds brutal," and then shut up. And suddenly, you're the person they trust, because you didn't make it about you. This is what the Stoics called sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. Understanding that your role isn't to fix everyone, it's to be present. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Again, not poetic, strategic, because the more you listen, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the sharper you become. And sharp people don't need to shout. Okay, last piece. You can fake confidence for a while. You can fake interest. You can even fake calm for a few minutes. But you can't fake integrity. People smell inconsistency a mile away. You say you value honesty, but you lie to clients. You preach work-life balance, but you send emails at midnight and expect instant replies. You talk about respect, but you interrupt people constantly. And maybe nobody calls you out. Maybe you even get promoted. But here's what happens under the surface. People stop trusting you, not in an obvious way. They still smile. They still cooperate. But they don't bring you their best ideas. They don't invite you into the inner circle. You're tolerated. Integrity is the difference between tolerated and trusted. And here's the brutal truth. You can't build it with words. Only actions. Repeated, consistent, unglamorous actions. Seneca wrote, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Most people waste their integrity on small compromises. Little lies. Tiny betrayals of their values, because it's easier this way. And each one chips away at their foundation. But the people who hold the line, who do what they said they'd do, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one's watching, they build something unshakable. And that unshakable quality, it radiates. You don't have to announce your values. People feel them. They feel it in how you treat the intern, the same way you treat the CEO, in how you admit mistakes without deflecting, in how you keep your word even when it costs you. That's influence. Real, lasting, undeniable influence. Not the kind you put on a resume. The kind people talk about when you're not in the room. So where does this all lead? Here's the thing about silent strength. You don't always see the impact. You won't get a trophy for staying calm in a crisis. Nobody's going to thank you for listening instead of talking. There's no award for integrity. But years from now, someone will remember how you made them feel. They'll remember that you didn't panic when everyone else did, that you listened when they needed to be heard, that you kept your word when it would have been easier to break it. And maybe they'll pass that on to their team, their kids, a stranger who needed it. That's the ripple. You influence people you'll never meet. You shape outcomes you'll never see, because you chose to be solid when the world rewarded loud. Marcus Aurelius spent his life leading an empire, fighting wars, dealing with betrayals and plagues and impossible decisions. And at the end of it all, he didn't write about his victories. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's it. That's the whole game. Stop performing. Stop proving. Just be the kind of person you'd respect. And watch what happens. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one silent signal. Just one. Maybe it's pausing before you respond. Maybe it's actually listening without planning your next sentence. Maybe it's keeping a promise you'd normally let slide. Start there, because influence isn't built in a day. It's built in 1,000 tiny moments where you chose presence over performance, calm over chaos, integrity over convenience. And those moments add up. You won't see it right away, but others will. They'll start coming to you for advice, trusting you with things that matter, watching how you move through the world and thinking, I want some of that. Not because you're loud, but because you're solid. And solid, that's what lasts. So go be unmovable. Be the calm in the storm. Be the person who doesn't need to shout because their presence already spoke. The world's got enough noise. Be the signal. So you learned the theory. Silent strength, emotional contagion, the power of not needing to prove anything. But here's where most people get stuck. They understand it intellectually. They nod along. They think, yeah, that makes sense. I should be more like that. And then they walk into their next meeting and nothing changes. Because knowing and being are two different games. You can't just decide to have presence the way you decide to wear a blue shirt. It's not a switch you flip, it's a system you build. And that's what this is about. not the philosophy, the mechanics, the specific, tangible things you can practice today that will change how people experience you tomorrow. Because here's what I've learned after years of watching people try and fail at this. Presence isn't mysterious. It's not some genetic gift. It's a series of micro behaviors that compound over time. And the people who master it, they're not special. They just paid attention to the right details. So let's break down the machine. Let's look under the hood. Because once you see how it works, you can't unsee it. Quick experiment. Right now, wherever you are, notice your posture. Are you slouching? Leaning to one side? Shoulders rolled forward? Fidgeting with something? Don't change it yet. Just notice, because here's the thing. Your body is having a conversation that your mouth isn't aware of, and everyone around you is reading it. Constantly, I learned this the hard way. Years ago, I was consulting for a tech startup, smart team, good product, but their CEO, brilliant guy, really couldn't understand why investors kept passing. His pitch was solid, numbers were strong, vision was clear. But I watched him present once and I saw it immediately. He'd cross his arms. Every time someone asked a hard question, not obviously, just a subtle fold, and his eye contact would dart away for a split second before answering. Tiny things, micro movements, but they screamed, "I'm defensive. I'm uncertain. I'm hiding something." Was he actually hiding something? No. He was just nervous. But perception is reality. So we worked on it, not the pitch, the body. We practiced holding open posture even during tough questions. Keeping eye contact steady, not aggressive, just there, slowing down his gestures so they felt intentional instead of reactive. 3 months later, funding secured. Same pitch, same numbers, different body. Because investors don't just buy ideas, they buy the person delivering them. And your body tells them whether you're worth the bet. Let's talk about eye contact. Most people get this wrong in one of two ways. Option A, they avoid it completely. Eyes on the floor, the wall, their phone. Anywhere but the person in front of them. Message received. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be here. I'm not confident in what I'm saying. Option B, they overdo it. Locked on stare, never breaking, trying so hard to project confidence that it tips into creepy. Message received. I'm trying too hard. I'm performing. I'm possibly unhinged. Both extremes kill presence. So what's the sweet spot? Here's the formula. Hold eye contact for 3-5 seconds during important points. Then break naturally, not down, sideways. Why not down? Because looking down signals submission. It's a primal thing. Dogs do it, primates do it, we do it. Looking away, sideways. That's neutral. It says, I'm thinking, I'm processing, I'm comfortable enough to not need to monitor you constantly. There's this guy I know, venture capitalist, sees hundreds of pitches a year. He told me something interesting. He doesn't decide whether to invest based on the pitch. He decides in the first 30 seconds based on eye contact. If someone can hold his gaze comfortably while explaining their idea, not aggressively, not nervously, just steadily, he keeps listening. If they can't, he's already checked out, mentally calculating how to exit the conversation politely. Because eyes communicate certainty, and in business, in relationships, in life, certainty is currency. But here's the nuance most people miss. It's not just about holding eye contact. It's about how you hold it. Soft focus, not drilling into their soul, not studying them like a specimen, just present, acknowledging them, seeing them as a human, not an obstacle or an audience. That's when eye contact becomes connection instead of confrontation. The voice you didn't know you had. Your voice does more than deliver words. It delivers emotion, status, intention, and most people have no idea what their voice is actually communicating. I realized this when I recorded myself for the first time. Podcast interview. I thought I sounded calm, measured, confident. I listened back and, wow. Upspeak, that thing where your voice goes up at the end of sentences, like you're asking a question, even when you're making a statement. I was doing it constantly, and it made everything sound uncertain, like I was seeking approval for my own opinions. I think this strategy works, and maybe we should try it. No wonder people kept pushing back on my ideas. I was literally asking them if I was right, so I fixed it. Not overnight, but through deliberate practice. Here's what I learned. 1. Drop your pitch at the end of statements. This is huge. When you end a sentence with a downward inflection, it signals finality. Confidence, this is what I believe. Period. When you end with an upward inflection, it signals uncertainty. Is this okay? Do you approve? Slow down. Nervous people talk fast. They rush to fill silence. They're afraid pauses mean weakness. Confident people don't. They take their time. They let words land before moving to the next thought. Try this. Record yourself having a conversation, then listen back at 0.75x speed. Sounds weird, right? Unnaturally slow. That's probably your ideal speaking pace. Because what feels slow to you feels considered to everyone else. 3. Use your full vocal range. Monotone kills engagement. Doesn't matter how good your content is, if you deliver it in a flat, unchanging tone, people tune out. But you don't need to be a radio host. Just emphasize key words, vary your pitch slightly. Create contrast.